Stop right there. Before you spend that old quarter in your pocket, listen to this. In 2019, a seemingly ordinary 1965 quarter with a D mint mark sold at auction for over $7,000. The person who found it, they almost used it in a parking meter. What makes this particular coin so valuable that collectors are willing to pay thousands for something you might have in your change jar right now? The answer involves a minting error so rare that only a handful exist. And if you have one, you could be holding a small fortune without even knowing it. Main content. Let me explain exactly what makes the 1965 D quarter so special. In 1965, the U.S. Mint made a historic decision to stop using silver in quarters. They switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition, and here's where it gets interesting. The Denver Mint, which normally uses a D mint mark on their coins, was instructed not to include any mint marks on quarters that year. This was supposed to discourage coin hoarding during the transition away from silver. But here's the shocking part. A small number of 1965 quarters were struck with the D mint mark anyway. These are what we call transitional errors, and they're among the most sought-after mistakes in modern U.S. coinage. The Denver Mint shouldn't have produced them, yet they exist. Now, you might be wondering about value. For a regular 1965 quarter without a mint mark in circulated fine condition, you're looking at face value, just 25 cents. But if you find a 1965 quarter with that D mint mark, even in fine condition, you're entering a completely different category. In today's auction market, authenticated 1965 D quarters in fine condition are valued between $4,500 and $7,500. Think about that. The difference between 25 cents and thousands of dollars comes down to a tiny letter D beneath George Washington's portrait. Here's what you need to know to identify one. First, grab a magnifying glass. Look just below the ribbon on Washington's ponytail, right above the date. On a normal 1965 quarter, you'll see nothing. But if there's a small D there, you need to get that coin professionally authenticated immediately. The condition matters, but even a well-circulated example is worth serious money because of the rarity. Fine condition means the coin shows moderate wear, some details are still visible, and the major features are clear. For this particular error, collectors care more about authenticity than perfection. Now, before you get too excited, I need to give you a reality check. Counterfeit 1965. D quarters exist. People have tried adding mint marks to regular 1965 quarters to deceive collectors. This is why professional authentication through PCGS or NGC is absolutely essential before claiming you have one or trying to sell it. If you think you've found one, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Handle it by the edges only. Take clear photographs and contact a reputable coin dealer or grading service. The authentication process costs around $30 to $50, but if your coin is genuine, that's a tiny investment compared to the return. Closing. So here's what you should do right now. Check every 1965 quarter you come across. Check your change jar, your old coin collections, even the quarters in your car's cup holder. Look for that D mint mark. You might be one of the lucky few holding a coin worth thousands. And here's something most people don't realize. There could be more of these coins still in circulation. Someone, somewhere, is going to find the next one. Will it be you? The only way to know is to look. If you found this information valuable, you need to watch my next video where I reveal another coin mistake that's even more valuable and far more common. One that you're almost guaranteed to find if you know what to look for. Don't let a fortune slip through your fingers.
You're holding a 1972 quarter right now that could be worth over $15,000, and you have no idea. This isn't a rare mint error. This isn't a proof coin. This is a regular quarter that millions of people threw away, spent on coffee, or tossed in a jar. But a handful of collectors are hunting these specific coins like buried treasure, and when they find one, they're paying absolutely insane money. I'm about to show you exactly what separates a 25-cent piece of pocket change from a coin that could cover your rent for months. Here's what makes this so dangerous for your bank account. The 1972 no mint mark quarter looks identical to every other Washington quarter you've ever seen. No flashy errors, no obvious doubling, nothing screaming, "I'm valuable." But here's the secret that dealers don't want you knowing. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 215 million of these quarters in 1972, and buried inside that massive production run are specific die varieties and strike characteristics that turn ordinary coins into auction sensations. The problem? Most people can't spot the difference, so they're spending five-figure coins at face value. Now you're thinking, this has to be about uncirculated coins, right? Mint state gems? Dead wrong. And this is where it gets absolutely wild. Circulated 1972 no mint mark quarters in fine condition, coins that have been in pockets, cash registers, and vending machines, are selling for hundreds to thousands of dollars when they have the right characteristics. We're talking about coins with visible wear, contact marks, and circulation damage that are still commanding premiums most people wouldn't believe. Why? Because certain die pairings and strike qualities are so rare that even a worn example is worth serious money to variety hunters and completion specialists. Let me break down what's actually happening with your 1972 quarters. The Philadelphia Mint used multiple die pairs throughout the year, and specific combinations created characteristics that advanced collectors will pay absolutely absurd amounts to own. We're talking about subtle differences in the eagle's feathers, microscopic variations in letter positioning, and reverse die markers that only appear on certain striking periods. The most sought-after variety features a distinctive die clash on the reverse and specific doubling on the designer's initials. Coins showing these traits, even in circulated fine condition, have sold at auction for $800 to $3,200 depending on exact grade and eye appeal. Here's where your profit lives or dies. Understanding what fine condition actually means for a 1972 quarter, and why it's not the death sentence you think. Fine condition means moderate to considerable wear, with the major design elements still clear, but finer details worn smooth. For a Washington quarter, you're looking at readable lettering, visible but flattened hair details, and a clear date. Most collectors skip right over fine condition coins, which is exactly why smart buyers are scooping them up. The population reports show that certain 1972 varieties have fewer than 50 examples certified in fine condition, making them scarcer than many higher-grade coins. Scarcity equals demand. Demand equals price explosion. Let's talk real numbers from actual auction results, not fantasy price guides. A 1972 no mint mark quarter in fine condition, no special variety, sells for face value or maybe $1 to a roll searcher. That's your baseline. But when you find a Type B reverse variety in fine condition, you're looking at $150 to $400 at auction. The rare die clash variety in fine grade? Documented sales between $600 and $1,200. And here's the absolute ceiling breaker. A 1972 Philadelphia quarter with the full strike variety and die markers, even in fine condition, sold for $3,180 at a heritage auction because it was one of only 12 examples known in any grade. The condition doesn't matter when the rarity is extreme enough.